there. Oh God, checking into the ship. Everyone has a cabin attendant, right, that takes care of you and folds cool little animals for you. And we've got a great one. Megan and I have a great one. Her name is Lorelei. Lorelei is from the Philippines. I love her. Oh, you got Lorelei too. Okay. Lorelei, first day she meets me, she knocks on the door. Megan's not there, like she's gone. And for the first 3 days, every time Lorelei came, Megan was not there. And I kept telling her that there was someone else in the room. But the first day that she met me, she knocks on the door, she goes, "Hello, Mr. Garrett." I'm like, "Hi." Yeah. "I tell you, I was on the Google, and I look, and I see you have long hair. But now, you don't have long hair." That's from 10 years ago. "I think I like you better with long hair." But each day I saw her, "Mr. Garrett, I don't think you have a lady staying with you. I don't see her. I have not seen her the entire time I've been on the ship. I've cleaned your cabin and there's no Mrs. anywhere. Maybe you're making her up?" No, I'm not making her up. I'm not. So then finally, day 4, I show up with Megan and our friend Aaron, who's here on the cruise. And Aaron's Filipino, and Megan is Caucasian. And so I come up with 2 women, and she's like, "Oh." And she's looking, and she's thinking, "I wonder," her brain is like, "I wonder which one it is." "I'm thinking the Asian-looking one. I think she's Filipino, like me. I don't know." So then I said, no, this is Megan, and this is... But the funny thing is, people have been, Aaron, my Filipino friend, everyone has mistaken her as my sister. Everyone on this cruise is like, "Oh my God, you're Garrett's sister." And she's like, no, I'm just his friend. So next year when she comes on the cruise, she's gonna make a t-shirt that says, "Not Garrett's sister." Today, she gets back from shopping in the Bahamas. She comes back on the ship, and there's a crew line and there's a non-crew line. They thought she was a crew, okay? Let me see if I get this correct. In Tagalog, the Filipino language, this lady looks at Aaron and she goes, "Nasa crew ka, di ba?" And she's like, "No, I'm just Filipino." "You're going to the crew line?" No, I'm a guest. I'm Filipino. Oh, there's another guy. Everyone go to, Windjammer? The dude with the hand sanitizer? You see him? He's the most vocal Asian I've ever met. I mean, like today, he's like, "You have the power! You have the power! You have the power!" He's like a Filipino Oprah. "You have the power! You have the power! You need to shower! More antibacterial for you!" I'm like, oh. That's someone we will never forget either. We will remember that gentleman for the rest of our lives. Oh, this is great. So, we are filming the Voyager documentary right now, right? My boy Scotty there on camera. He's got it all going. Yeah. And so we were actually doing some B-roll up on the deck. We're just getting some footage of me walking around, and then actually just talking to fans. And Megan, my lady, was kind of standing back a little bit behind the director and the cameraman. And so wherever we went, she's like trailing behind a little bit. She's trailing behind, trailing here, trailing there. And then finally she comes up to me, she goes, "Okay, I'm gonna go to the gym," or she says something, I'm gonna take off. And so as she peeled away from us, she walked past 2 fans, these 2 women, and then she overhears these women say, "Whew, looks like Garrett's stalker's given up." We debated, long time. Should I say this? And she's like, "Fine, just say it. That's funny, right? Because if you're looking at her her, and she's not really next to me. I'm doing the video and everything. She's standing behind the crew, and then oh, Garrett Stalker. So next year, Megan's gonna make Not Garrett Stalker. Oh my God. You know, and the other thing that, after my first show, Megan and Aaron and I sat down and I said, how can we tighten this show? How can we make it better? How can we embellish on this and that? And they both said, you know, you didn't really make fun of yourself. And I go, oh, okay, self-deprecating humor, all right. And then I remembered my very first cruise, which Tim Russ was on, Roxanne Dawson was on this very first cruise out of Puerto Rico. No, out of, was that? Yeah, San Juan. We flew from LA to San Juan. And that was really embarrassing for me, because at the intro ceremony, I sat there and I said, you know what, guys, this is my first time on a cruise ship, and it's amazing how stable it is right now. I mean, you can barely feel anything. And someone in the audience goes, that's because we haven't left the port yet. Idiot. That cruise was also, Mr. John Delancey was on that cruise. And yeah, you know, it was really funny. We had a snorkeling excursion that all the people at Cruise Trek went on, and John Delancey had come out of the ocean, and he walked over to the outdoor showers, and he was just rinsing off the seawater. And there's like a wall, like a partition. So when you're looking at him, all you see is like his upper half, like it looks like he's naked, right? So he's like showering. And as he's showering, I look over, and there are 3 or 4 fans with telephoto lenses and cameras, and they're like, so you know, they've just got shots of Delancey just showering off. These are my pictures of Q naked. I did get permission, yes. Oh, John Delancey's great. You know, in the beginning, I didn't have a great relationship with him. I didn't know him that well, but over the years, I've got to know him pretty darn well. We were at a convention in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's called Trek Expo, if anyone remembers that. And one guy, yeah, I remember. Not unlike this show, they asked the actors to do like a talent, come up with something, you know. And John's talent was he was reading a short story called The Devil and Daniel Jones. Now this short story, is filled with profanity. I mean, oh, F-bomb here, F-bomb there. Remember, we're in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Bible Belt. And so as he's reading from this short story, I'm looking at the audience, because I was the MC of the evening, and I'm looking at the audience, and every time he drops an F-bomb, they're just like, they're getting like tense, like their bodies are making weird contortions. I'm like, oh God. When he finally finishes it, he's at the end. He closes the book, everyone like breathes a sigh of relief, and he turns around and he walks through the pipe and drape stage. As he's walking through, the entire stage collapses around him. And I'm going, oh my God, because if he wasn't standing in the entrance, he probably would have been killed by this, you know, metal piping or whatever, but he was in the entrance and he froze. He was like, oh, and then it hits. So now I gotta vamp. I gotta do something past the time when they fix the stage. So I sat there and I said, ladies and gentlemen, John Delancey is so powerful. He brought the stage down. Then there's a guy sitting in the front row. He's dressed as Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. He had a staff. I said, sir, can I borrow your staff? He goes, sure. Take the staff. I go, does that crystal light up? He goes, hit the floor. Boom. Ooh. And it lights up. I said, you know what Delancey's like? It's like He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. When He-Man lifts his sword above his head and says, by the power of Grayskull, and he gets all this power into the sword. So just to vamp it up, I took that staff with the light and I went, by the power of Delancey, like a WWE announcer. And so I do that, and everyone's laughing. Next day, I'm on stage during my Q&A. Guy raises his hand. I go, yes, sir. He said, this isn't a question. This is more of a story. I go, okay. We left the talent show yesterday. I go, yep. We were driving, and our pickup truck broke down. I go, oh, that's horrible. And we tried everything, nothing was working. So then one of us had the idea, maybe we could use the power of Delancey. So two dudes got out of the truck and put their hands on the engine, and they said, by the power of Delancey, start. And the dude inside the cab turned and it started. This is when the Church of Delancey began. I told this story and people just emailed me from far and wide. This one lady said, I was out of work for months and months. And you know, I saw you at some convention, you told the Power of Delancey story, and I said, what the hell, I'll try it. And I sat there with my laptop, and I about to hit send on this one resume, and I said, by the power of Delancey, give me a job, send. And I got a job. This lady, she said, I was at the Star Trek Las Vegas convention, and we spent all our money on autographs and photo ops, and we just had nothing left for food. So we went to the slot machines. It was a penny slot machine, and I sat there and I said, by the power of Delancey, give me food money. And I won a jackpot. This is real emails. After I told this the first Thursday night that we did this, right, the first time, I got on Twitter, one woman said, she goes, we were in the elevator, stuck. It wasn't moving at all. We all touched the door and said, by the power of Delancey, move! And the elevator moved. You know, at these conventions, I'm often asked very common questions, over and over again. What's your favorite episode? And I say, well, my favorite, honestly, is going to be Timeless, right? Yeah. Trapped in a prison ship. My second favorite is Bob Picardo's episode, Tinker, Tenor, Dr. Spy. Not only does Bob do a great job in this, but that one scene in the briefing room where all the ladies of Trek are literally flirting with him, remember that? Janeway's like, she goes, I seem to have a pain in my back. And then she's like, no, lower, whatever. And then like Polana's flirting with him or something, and it's that episode to me was hilarious. I just loved that episode. Then people ask me, other than your character, who's your favorite character on Voyager? And I say, Polana Torres. I do. She put so much nuance into that character, half Klingon, half human. She's a great actress. Now she's all but forgone acting. She's only directing and producing, and I really, you guys probably wish she could act on something else, right? And we'd love to see her acting something. But just to give you a little background about Roxanne, she's a very accomplished dancer. She did ballet, tap, everything. She was in chorus line. And the very first episode where the Maquis joined with the Starfleet crew, she's in her Maquis garb and she's like challenging the captain. She came down, and this is the early stages when we're all feeling out our character, trying to figure out, what's what and how to play it this way. And her dance background, she's walking on these steps in the bridge, and she does this it was like very ballet. She was like, she came down, I'm like, that's so not Klingon. And I think I even told her, I go, Roxanne, and she's like, what? You're coming down like you're at the Bolshoi ballet. I mean, like, dun, 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 dun. I mean, this light little tinkle. You gotta be able to like, clunk, 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 kabla. That one laugh is Roxanne right there. Oh, I just love that all my Trek actors came out tonight. So happy to see them. We got Bob Picardo right here. Tim Russ's sister. Wait, yeah. Yay! People like, who? Right. We love you, Angela. Is that Jeffrey? Yeah. Who's next to Jeffrey? Steve! Oh, Steve Rankin's over there. Megan is there. Not my sister is there. Mary Chiefo, wave at everybody. Minot Visitor is here. Minot's husband Matthew is here. Roxanne Dawson is here. Eric, her husband, is here, and accomplished casting director. Who else is in there? We got Ethan. Ethan Peck made it. Yeah. Denise Crosby made it. Hey. Bob's daughter, Gina Picardo, she's here. Her friend Jen is here. Yay. And Ethan Phillips. Oh, yeah. That's amazing. Oh, sorry, Vaughn Armstrong is here in the second row. Melissa, Aaron's lady, she's here. And we have more. Oh, Aaron McDonald is here. Dr. Noor is here, right? Dr. Muhammad Noor. Yeah, Julie is here. Where are you at? Dr. Noor, where are you? I saved a seat for you down here. They ran out of seats. Sorry, Dr. Noor. Oh my God, at dinner yesterday, that was so funny. Kenneth Mitchell, he's sitting at a table and he goes, "Yo, Garrett! Our scientists are better than yours!" And he's sitting with Aaron, and then I have Dr. Noor at my table, right? And so I was like, "Oh, really? Food fight!" And as we're walking out, the funniest thing, I mean, Erin McDonald looks at me, she's like, "Yo, suck it," is what she said. And my first image was like, she was like a female Q, and she's like, "Suck it." Right when she said suck it, two pacifiers show up in Dr. Noor's mouth and my mouth. Suck it. So funny. Oh my God. I didn't know we could have like science battles like that. That's wonderful. Oh my goodness. Let's see what else we can talk about here. Oh yeah. So, you know, my decision to act was very difficult. Being an Asian kid, a Chinese American kid, everyone expects you to be a doctor. I remember that phone call with my mom. I was like, "Mom, I'm no longer pre-med." She's like, "What? Oh, you're gonna go to law school." I was like, "No." "And you're gonna get your MBA?" "No." So not business school, not law school. What are you gonna do? I said, "I've decided to go into acting." And she dropped the phone. She picks it back up. She says very calmly, "Name one person, one Asian man who's made it in Hollywood." And I said, "Bruce Lee." Without skipping a beat, she said, "He's dead, pick another." That is actually going to be the name of my autobiography. He's dead, pick another. So look for it. I'll be out in a year. And I couldn't think of. I was like, God, I'm racking my head. I'm like, okay, there's a bunch of character actors out there, right? Like people like James Hong, who's in everything. Everyone knows who James Hong is. He was in Big Trouble, Little China. He was Lo Pan in that movie. Wow. I love Lo Pan. He's been a ton of stuff, and I met him at some Asian award show. He walks up to me. The reason why I know his resume is so long, he's one of the ultimate networkers. He's always networking. So he walks up to me and he goes, "Oh yeah, hi Garrett, James Hong, hi, nice to meet you." And I'm like, "Oh, hi James. So is there any possibility of me playing your uncle or something on Voyager?" And I look at him like, "We're in the Delta Quadrant, that's probably not gonna happen." "Yes, but you have a holodeck, don't you?" And I'm like, "Yes, we have a holodeck." The guy had done his research on how to get the next job, so. But really, there was nobody out there that I could say, "Hey, this guy did it." And so it was sort of virgin territory, right? Other than George Takei as Sulu, they're really, that's one of the first non-stereotypical roles for Asian men. Right? The other thing was Hop Sing from Bonanza. That's not my role model. "Mr. Cartwright, can I clean your clothes and cook your food?" No, not into that, dude. Remember this commercial? Jackie, but I'm talking about Asian American, homegrown, right? I'm not gonna talk about the guys that were raised and born outside of America. So. Who? Yeah, but he came way later though. He doesn't count. But when I was a kid, there was no Ken Jeong. Ken Jeong was like the same age I was, probably. But I did see. Do you remember that Calgon commercial? Yeah, it was like, Mr. Lee, how do you get your clothes so clean? Ancient Chinese secret. And at the end, he tells his wife, "We need more Calgon," and they're like, "Oh, Mr. Lee." So no role models, really. I mean, it was slim pickings. So I had to make my own way. I was the first Asian on a Burger King commercial. The first Asian on a Big Red chewing gum commercial, one of the little longer ones, right? People, I wasn't the kissing people. I mean, I was the one standing next to them going, "Hurry up and finish kissing." That was that guy. That audition was amazing because after the second callback, they said, "Okay, congratulations, it's whittled down to 80 actors. We're bringing you in 5 at a time. There's stools, 5 stools." So we sat down, I'm in the middle stool, 2 actors to the left, 2 to the right, the guy running the audition, he's got the video camera, and he's sitting there and he's briefing us. He goes, "Guys, I'm gonna ask each of you one question. I want you to answer it as yourself. I don't want you to be all commercially and smiley, just be yourself. And not to make you nervous, but this video camera is hardwired to a monitor. Next to me, you see an office screen set up. All the Wrigley's executives and Madison Avenue ad execs, they're all watching you right now." I'm like, "Oh, great." So they go to the first person and they say, "How long you been in LA?" And they're like, "Oh, blah, 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 blah." Second person, "What are your hobbies?" "Oh, I like fishing, golf." And to me, he said, "Where are you from?" I said, "California, Indiana, Bermuda, Memphis, Tennessee, back to California." And he looks at me and he says, "All these places have military bases." So he said, "Military brat, huh?" And then my improv skills kicked in. And I, out of the blue, I don't know how I came up with this. I go, "No," with a totally straight face. I said, "No, not a military brat. Actually, my parents are heroin importers. And I stayed one step ahead of the law." When I said heroin, the actors were they're just craning their necks around. They're thinking, "You're not getting this job, dude." The guy running the audition, he's giving me the kill signal. He is so pissed off. He's like, "Kill you." I keep a solid face, maybe a pregnant beat, 1 or 2 beat and a half, and then I break into a smile, meaning, "I'm just kidding. I have normal, studious parents, just like I was studious in school." So I laugh, and I see the office screen is moving. They're laughing so hard. Then I booked that job. My friend Michael Paul Chan, another actor from an earlier generation, he also was thinking outside the box when he went in for a McDonald's commercial audition for a crying Eskimo. So, the crying Eskimo was all about an Eskimo that's ice fishing. And he opens up his McDonald's burger, but the patty falls out into the hole. So now all he has left is just the buns, and he's crying about it. So, flash forward to the audition, there's like 50 Asian dudes in parkas sitting outside, right? They all do the same thing. They're like, no burger. Michael Paul Chan, he does the same thing. He falls in, and he cries a little bit, and they had the prop bun there, like everyone got to use the top and bottom of the bun. He took the buns and blew his nose into the bun. He got the job. Think outside the box, people. Very important. Very important.
Don't you mean think outside the bun?
Would you like to come up here? Yeah, she's like, "I'm up there now." The crying is, yeah.
You actually experienced secondhand Delancey the other day.
What?
You experienced secondhand
Power of Delancey secondhand? Yeah.
Yes.
What happened?
After your show.
Yeah.
I'm in the prom night cafe.
Yeah.
Good show. Good show.
Let her finish. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me finish.
Okay. Just go.
Almost on you the power of Delancey.
So who came in?
You did.
Oh, I did. Oh, well, that makes sense. So you used the power to Lansing to find me. All right. I love that.
I'm just like, hey.
I love that. Security, I need the. No, just kidding. Thank you for that story. And here's the key with power to Lansing. You must believe, because there's people who try it and they're like, it didn't work. I go, well, that's because you didn't believe. If you believe, it'll work. It does work. There you go. People tell me that too. Thank you. Everyone has to chime in. Oh, everyone's shushing everybody. Okay. Thank you for backing me up here. Yeah. My security chief.
If you point it towards the screen, it brightens up.
Actually, I think.
One fucking morning.
Oh my God. Okay, that deserves a George Takei. Oh my. I see what it. So there was, I don't know what port we were in. What port was that, Dr. Nora, that you got questioned? What? San Juan. So we were delayed deboarding because the customs officials had to ask Dr. Muhammad Noor several questions. One person. Now, I find this ironic because there are actually two fans on this cruise, also named Muhammad, but they weren't asked questions. Just the guest of honor, Dr. Muhammad Noor. And so he had this whole text thread with Megan about what had happened to him, and it absolutely, it was just racial profiling at its best, right? So it starts off. Let's see. So. Megan says, okay, Aaron is going to go get change, and Muhammad goes, I'll brush my teeth. Okay, I don't need to read that. Hold on. And then he says, he goes, San Juan authorities won't clear the ship until I go over and they check my passport. I guess I'm an Arab threat. And then Megan's like, W2F. Oh my God, LOL. And then Muhammad says, I don't even have an excursion today. They still needed to ask me questions. And then Megan replied, maybe they don't like science. Dr. Noor says, haha, maybe. And then he's like, Jerry and Jonathan DeLarco are here too, but presumably to disembark, not because they're threats. And then, so he's waiting for this officer forever. And then Dr. Noor is so gracious and kind. He was very calm. The guy was like embarrassed. He was sent to do all these questions. And towards the end of it, Dr. Noor was like, so where's a good place I can buy chocolates on shore as gifts? And so the guys he became his friend a little bit. But I told Dr. Noor, I said, you should have hammed it up. You should have just walked down there with a heavy Middle Eastern accent. I am Dr. Muhammad Noor. Yes, Dr. Noor, what do you teach? I teach two things. Nuclear fission and biochemical warfare. I do an American accent when I come on the ship to do my presentations. But in reality, I am plotting to overthrow the infidels. Nobody would have deboarded the ship if that happened. Roxanne, Bob, I don't know if you guys know this, but Ethan, day one, when I was putting on my wardrobe as Ensign Harry Kim, I'm putting on my boots, my Starfleet boots, and I realized that the tread is completely gone. I mean, they're slick, completely slick on the bottom. And I'm like, what the heck? These are used shoes? And so, that sounded like Neelix. Used shoes? I mean, so I start to do more investigating. I'm looking around, I'm like, what the heck? And there's a name tag in there. And it says, B. Spiner. And I realized these are Brent Spiner's shoes from TNG. I didn't have enough money to buy me my own shoes. I'm like the Rodney Dangerfield of Star Trek. No respect. I mean, what is this? Like, that was so sad. But you know, that moment was replaced by a plus moment when I first met Patrick Stewart for the very first time. He was sitting on the Voyager set in a director's chair next to the director, and I walked on the set. I just remember, because I'm a huge sci-fi fan before even getting on Voyager, and I walk on, I see Patrick, I'm like, okay, be cool. It's Patrick Stewart. I walk over to him, and I see him, and I said, Mr. Stewart, it's so great to meet you. And I reach my hand out, and as he's shaking my hand, I said, my name is Garrett. And he's like, I know who you are. I had a chance to watch your pilot episode, Caretaker. I'm like, oh, yeah, you saw it. And he said, excellent work. And I went, oh. That moment, I honestly felt like he was the Queen of England and he was knighting me. I was being knighted. It was like, I knight you, Sir Harry of Kim. Oh, that made up for Brent Spiner's stinky shoes, for sure. They weren't stinky, don't tell him that. I know someone's gonna go, Brent, Garrett said your shoes stink. They don't stink at all. Who was at the Voyager group panel? Anybody here? So, at the Voyager group panel, they I was sitting between Janeway was on my right, Kate was on my right, and on the left, it was Jerry Ryan, right? Both of them made fun of me because I had my microphone on my chin. and two separate times, they both went, Jerry was like, Gooby, that's really weird. And then Kate was like, it is weird. And the whole thing started because doing conventions in a space like this, oftentimes when I hold my microphone up and fans are taking photos that are in the front row, their pictures end up looking like this. There's a poll here, so I'm gonna let them see for visual. There's another poll right here. I like the sound it makes. So that's when I started, putting the microphone on my chin so that the people in the front could get a nice photo. So that's where it came from. I never got to explain that. So everyone that was at that panel was just weird. Oh my goodness. Tim Russ, is he still here? I don't know. Or his sister goes, no, he left. I met Tim for the first time, and I said, you know what? Nice to meet you, Tim. He says, nice to meet you. Tim Russ is really a Vulcan in real life. Because I said to him, if you change one letter in your name, one letter, Tupac, the V to a P, you could have been Tupac, the rapper, Yeah, and he looks at me, he's like, rap music. Rap music is the reason for the fall of modern Western civilization. I thought I was on candid camera. I thought camera's gonna come out like, ha ha, he's not really like a Vulcan. He's really like a Vulcan. You walk up to him and say, hey, nice day today. He's, well, you'll see the cumulus clouds on the horizon coming this way, according to the zenith of the, he's so Vulcan. It's crazy. Ugh, God. I still love him though. Angela? Okay. His sister's like, okay. He's like my big brother. He really is. He's like my big brother. I love him. Yeah. I love everybody on Voyager. I love everybody in the Star Trek family, actually. It's just so wonderful to have everybody here. Whether it's Discovery, or if it's TNG, DS9, original series, I love them all. So, except for Shatner. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. We had a feud, but it's over. We had a feud, but it's over. Literally, because in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where the whole power of Delancey began, was when I met Shatner for the first time, and when we shook hands, literally, I was like, hey, good to meet you, finally. And I'm shaking his hand, and he gave me only the front half of his hand to shake, like he was the Queen of England. So I'm like, oh, okay. Awkward. Mid-handshake, he pulls it away, and he wipes his hand off. And then he yawned and walked away from me. Now, to his credit, or to defend him, I had really long hair. I mean, he probably thought I was just some crazy long-haired Asian or Native American person. So, seriously, when I had long hair, I was always accosted by drunk, middle-aged Caucasian women, and they'd walk up and say stuff like, I love me an Indian. Another lady came, this is verbatim, okay? I'm not making this crap up. Another lady comes up and says, you know what? You know, people were drunk and repeated it. You know what? I go, what? You can be the chief in my teepee anytime. Anytime. So I think Shatner thought I was, Native American or something. It's Oklahoma, there's a lot of natives there, so he didn't know it was me. That's what I'm hoping it was, And I remember 2 years later, 3 years later, I'm at the Vegas convention, I'm signing autographs, and this guy walks up, he's like, yeah, I work for Bill Shatner. He'd like to interview you for his documentary, The Captains. He's set up in a room on the side over here with a camera crew. Is that cool if you come? And I said, oh, really? Let me tell you about your boss in our first meeting. So I told him the whole thing, and he goes, oh, I guess you're not coming. Oh, no, I'm coming. I'm just walking my way over to that room. I open up the door, the lights are low, the camera crew's there, Bill Shatner's like deep in thought, and he looks up, he's like, oh, thank you so much for coming, thank you. Bill Shatner. And I said, oh, no, we've met before. He's like, what, where? And I told him the whole story, Queen of England, you got cooties, walk away. And he goes, I did that? Are you saying that I actually did that? And I go, yeah, you did that. Well, I must have been ill, I must have been sick, because why would I do that? And he said, I don't know why you did that, but you did do that, Yeah. But we actually made peace, because I actually tweeted about the fact that when my mom was pregnant with me in her belly, the only thing she watched was Captain Kirk in the original series, right? And immediately he tweeted back, really? I didn't know that. Your mother watched your show all the time, my show all the time? Yeah, she did. So we're okay. But for the longest time, I was like, yeah. Also, Will Wheaton had an issue with Shatner. You guys know that one, right? Oh my Lord. He was, tell us, yeah. He was on the set, he was filming Next Gen, and they were filming one of the Trek movies next door. And he asked the assistant director, hey, can I go meet Bill Shatner? He's my idol, I love Kirk. And they're like, okay, we got time. So he goes over there, and he's waiting like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Finally, Shatner walks over to him, and little Will Wheaton in his little skinny little suit, he's so excited, he's like, huh? And Shatner walks up, he's like, you the kid? And he's like, yeah, I'm the kid, I'm playing on Next Gen. He's like, well, guess what? I would never allow a kid on my bridge, and walked away from him. Will Wheaton went back to his trailer and cried, actually, for an hour after that. I know it's horrible, but they've made up too, but it's horrible that he did that to him. I mean, I don't know. My mom's gonna tell me, stop talking about Shatner. He has feelings too. Like she already emailed me that. She's like, don't talk about that. Oh my God. Let's see. Oh, my neighbors. I live in Calgary and I live in Las Vegas.
Woo!
So one morning, early in the morning, we got the dogs in the backyard and it's dark, like totally dark. It's like 5 a.m. And Megan is like, oh my God. I go, what? She goes, the neighbors, they have Voyager on right now. And these neighbors, we've been next to them for 5 years. Never once have they acknowledged us. Like every time I pull the car up, and if they're there, I look over, I'm like, trying to wave, and they just kind of quickly look away. They're like, can't talk. So I thought, that these people were so antisocial, but lo and behold, they were watching Voyager this whole time. And they don't even know it's me. So the day that we move out, I'm gonna sign an autograph photo, and it's gonna say, "You guys are the best neighbors ever." And just leave that on the door. And they'll be like, "Holy shit, he's next door to us! I told you should have made eye contact. He doesn't have coronavirus." I did a excursion, a snorkeling excursion. But the funny thing, Bob, like throughout the week, people came up to me and said, "I'm doing a snorkeling excursion with Bob Picardo." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like over and over again, they had to tell me this. I don't know why, but I had a snorkeling excursion the same day as you, Bob. So we went to Trunk Bay, which is in St. Thomas. And what was cool, St. John, sorry, I said it all wrong. So when we were in Trunk Bay, we did like a group photo on the beach. And then we did a group photo at the end in the water. So they said, "Hey, everyone get around Garrett." So we're in more the shallow end, but still you're feeling the tide and everything going in and out. And so after we did the photo, I started entertaining the fans that came on the excursion with various jokes and stories and anecdotes. And now they're surrounding me all around, like it's a campsite, fire, but we're in the water. But the funniest thing is watching people that were sitting on the beach that were not part of the Star Trek cruise. They're looking out there and they're like, "What is going on? Who is that Asian Jesus out there?" He's like preaching to them. He's like, "I baptize you in the name of Harry Kim. I baptize you in the name of Harry Kim." They're just staring like, because it's either that or they're thinking that guy's got coronavirus. They're all. Bob made a couple of coronavirus jokes the other day, so I thought I can too. So. You gave me permission, Bob. Thank you. All right, so I think the best thing to do is probably end this up on a great, great final story. So, yeah. I know, it just sucks. We have so much stuff to talk about, but we have so little time to do it in. Oh my Lord. Oh yeah, fart wars. There were 3 nations involved in fart wars. The nation of Neelix, the nation of Tom Paris, and the nation of Tuvok. These 3 individuals were the fart wars aggressors. So, for instance, Tim Russ would walk over from tactical to my station at operations, and he would sit there and say, "Hey, Bubba,